Oklahoma is the land of second, third, and last chances. Who were the people that made it so? The Red River Institute, JDwyer.com, me, Gwen Faulconer-Lippert, and our signature sponsor, Atwoods, present Oklahoma Gold. Together with award-winning author and historian John J. Dwyer, we'll stitch the golden threads of Oklahoma history. Here now on Oklahoma Gold. Dignifying our history through the stories we survived. John J. Dwyer, May 20th, 2013. What is that story?
It's a hard story, Gwen, and yet it's full of memorable heroics and valor among Oklahomans. And it's a story we all need to know and remember. A week before that, around May 13th, 2013, Oklahoma TV meteorologists began issuing disturbing projections of severe weather to come in the ensuing week. Over the next few days, atmospheric conditions up and down the Great Plains slowly grew more unsettled. By May 19th, storm watchers reported dozens of isolated tornadoes and hundreds of severe storm outbreaks. Late in the day, an F3 tornado erupted in southeast Edmond, struck a housing addition, and narrowly missed the main campus of Life Church, whose composite locations soon became the largest church in America. The twister tracked northeast to Luther, then to Kearney in Lincoln County, which it smashed, destroying many homes and injuring a half dozen people. Another twister touched down in Norman that later developed into a fierce F4. Both tracked east, gathering destructive force as they traveled, but largely steering clear of populated areas. They did destroy homes in several communities and killed 2 people in Shawnee. After a few lesser tornadoes farther east faded, the weather settled down for the night. But all the OKC metro and most of the state of Oklahoma awoke the next day, May 20th, aware that true danger loomed in the hours ahead. That morning's Oklahoma newspaper blared the 3-inch headline, "It Took It All," regarding the previous day's destruction. The subheading, "Twisters Kill at Least One, Leave Path of Destruction in Oklahoma," girded it, along with color photos of grieving Oklahomans amidst the piles of rubble that had been their homes. A Brian Painter, Oklahoma story quoted Norman-based National Weather Service meteorologist Rick Smith, and it featured the headline, "More Storms May Be Ahead Monday." And Gwen, how true was that prediction? And by the way, do you remember where you were the morning of May 20th, 2013, or what you were doing?
I was trying to stay weather aware, but there was the eeriest feeling in the air. That's what I remember.
Yeah. An unsettled feeling in the air, and just the entire across Oklahoma. People knew, I think, trouble was coming. And in fact, TV weather people's reports grew more unsettling as the day progressed. The preceding day's events and more around the Midwest were on everyone's mind. People at water coolers, in classrooms, shops, and fields, around business conference tables, seasoned from generations of tornadic drama, soberly discussed their emergency plans. Office sites began to empty and people to stream towards home. Perhaps never before had all the aforementioned factors, as well as bitter remembrance of both May 1999 and May 2003 tornadoes that ravaged South OKC metro areas, especially more, so convincingly persuaded the general public that real trouble was approaching. The morning hours passed with little drama, just as on those previous fateful days. But early that afternoon, skies darkened and conditions grew unstable in Grady County, southwest of the OKC metro. Tornado watches and warnings and wall-to-wall TV weathercasts rolled into play. Then, just before 3 p.m., the first reported twister struck eastern Grady County. It churned northeast through northern McLean County, wreaking destruction in Newcastle. It crossed the South Canadian River at F3 force, hauling up an old trestle bridge by its mounts and heaving it airborne across Interstate 35. It's heading into Westmore, a KOCO TV storm chaser reported. One of Oklahoma's darkest hours was commencing. The tornado roared towards Wayland Bonds Elementary on the western periphery of the Moore School District. Just before striking the school, it turned east and thundered through open country across May, Pennsylvania, and Western avenues. It destroyed multiple structures and massacred more than 100 horses. Meanwhile, standing outside Briarwood Elementary School, Principal Shelley McMillan watched the Black Colossus in awe as it expanded to 1 mile of tornadic width and towered thousands of feet high and roiled straight for her. She looked up toward the darkened heavens and prayed, "God, you said I just have to have the faith of a mustard seed. I have that faith. Please protect everyone and put your hands around us. Please have your angels surround us." Then, as debris began to fly, McMillan and Assistant Principal Jennifer Mankins hurried inside to protect those children. The tornado, meanwhile, slung a 10-ton propane tank thousands of feet through the air. Then it hurled a 12,000-gallon water tank from the beloved Orr family farm through Briarwood's roof from more than half a mile away. Mounting to F4, then F5 fury, it tore into the school. Little pre-K children sang songs as their teachers covered them with their own bodies, even as debris, then roofs and walls began to swirl and smash. Third-grade teacher Julie Simon realized the monster was attempting to suck the small bodies of her students up with it as their eyeglasses began to fly into the air. She made the split-second decision to shove a cluster of them out of a hallway and into a tiny closet. Even as they entered the closet, the walls of the hallway collapsed behind them. In one of the surpassing miracles and answered prayers of Oklahoma history, no one died at Briarwood, though dozens of teachers and students suffered injuries. So mammoth in height, width, and depth that it covered the visible sky and horizon and appeared as a huge black wall to witnesses. With 200 to 210 mile-per-hour winds, the tornado rampaged through southwest Moore. Nearly retracing the ghostly path of the 1999 horror, it leveled entire neighborhoods, leaving them looking like cities such as Dresden or Hiroshima that were obliterated in World War II. Knowing the snarling behemoth was approaching Plaza Towers Elementary School, a name that would be freighted with enduring emotion for Oklahoma, its frightened children, cringing in total darkness, asked to sing, "Jesus Loves Me." Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong, they're weak, but he is strong. Jesus loves me, he will stay close beside me all the way. He will wash away my sin, let his little child come in.
May 20th, 2013. The Golden Nugget when we return. This is Oklahoma Gold. Dignifying our history through the stories we remember. May 20th, 2013. Where were you that afternoon when the weather spoke? John JDwyer.
Well, Gwen, though many students that afternoon across the Moore School District were delivered from harm's way on May 20th, 2013 by parents who picked them up before that day's historic tornado hit, every teacher who reported for duty remained at their post, and that included Plaza Towers. There, many of them shielded their students with their own battered bodies. Debris hammered 6th grade teacher Rhonda Crosswhite as she lay atop 3 children. I love you. Please don't die with me," one little boy cried from beneath her as she comforted him. "God, please take care of my kids." Crosswhite, her back and legs slashed, prayed through her own pain and fear. "A teacher covered us, Mrs. Crosswhite," one boy said later. "She saved our lives." Pre-K teacher Linda Patterson had no intention of leaving anyone. Debris, then wooden planks, then a car piled on top of her. Beaten and bruised, she continued to shield 2 children beneath her until, quote, 3 or 4 men, I don't even know who they were, came and dug us all out. Those guys were my heroes, end quote. Kindergarten teacher Anna Canaday covered her little students like a blanket with her body. Please just take me instead because they're the babies. She screamed aloud to God amidst the deafening roar. Even when a car crashed onto her too, she and the children under her survived. Only 8 children in Jennifer Doan's Plaza Towers class of 24 third graders remained at school when the tornado hit. Their parents were all en route to pick them up, but could not make it in time because of massed traffic and storm bedlam. Doan was pregnant with her own baby, but she pulled her 8 students and one from another class into a huddle with her on the floor, enfolding them with her arms. She held them tight, even as the tornado blew down the school and buried her and them under it. She continued to hold on to them in the suffocating darkness, her spine and sternum both broken. Despite so many hopes, so many dreams, and so many prayers, 7 little Plaza Towers third graders did not make it. An 8th with them through it all and saved by Doan, but forever scarred by PTSD, committed suicide 5 years later at age 14. Remarkably, a prevailing sentiment of Jennifer Doan, selfless hero of Oklahoma history, was guilt. I ask myself all the time, what could I have done? Or why didn't we do this? She said. Guilt is a big part of it still. From such experiences are the private, holy sorrows of so many Oklahomans, of Oklahoma itself, born. Approaching I-35, the killer destroyed the Moore Hospital, stacked dozens of vehicles in a pile of ruin at its front entrance, and threw one more onto the building's roof. It sheared down much of East Moore, too, including the Highland East Junior High Gymnasium and much of the Moore Public Schools Administration Building before petering out beyond the town. The eventual death toll ran to 25 souls, including 10 children and babies, with over 300 people injured. More than 1,200 homes were destroyed and 12,000 damaged. For months, there were no available living quarters in Moore. Thousands of its residents scrambled for temporary housing in nearby communities. The eventual damage totaled $2 billion, twice that of the May 3rd disaster of 1999. The tragic loss of so many children obscured the fact that had the entire OKC metro area not been so well prepared and well updated by TV meteorologists like Gary England, David Payne, Mike Morgan, Emily Sutton, and Damon Lane, and acted upon the available information, the death toll could easily have climbed into the thousands. Despite horribly flawed construction at both Briarwood and Plaza Tower schools, prominent civil engineer Chris Ramsayer eventually concluded, in the words of the Journal Record newspaper, that, quote, a larger unseen force protected the hundreds of survivors at the schools. As a human, what I see is God chose to save them, end quote. Years later, schoolteacher Jennifer Doan Rogers, who survived with her baby and later had more, left her own elegiac remembrance of May 20th and the 6 children lost, to that point, from her class. I'm sitting here on the eve of another 20th, she wrote, waiting for my class to arrive, taking a moment of quiet to pause and think as I do every morning. I sit here in front of my 6 empty chairs, 6 chairs that I always have left for you guys. This time of the year is always harder, but a lot of people tend to forget it's not just this month or this day. 4 years, 10 years, 20 years. It'll still be every bit as hard. Love and miss you guys always, end quote. When she named that first baby for her student, Nicholas McCabe, he was the closest one to me that I actually had my hand on that didn't make it, this Oklahoma hero teacher remembered. He's a big piece of me. He had a humongous smile.
May 20th, 2013. Those are the tears of Oklahoma.